Thank you for turning to page 121, and welcome to Dragon number 96 from April 1985. And let's just go ahead and turn the cover. Oops, wait a minute. Yes, this is my only coverless issue of the Dragon. Why, you ask? Did you beat that up? No. TSR for a little while in 85 was trying to save money because things weren't going real great. And one of the ways they saved money was by crummy bindings. Anybody that bought the original Unearthed Arcana, and a lot of cases the Oriental Adventures book, knows that. That also extended to Dragon magazine. We got about 5 or 6 issues where the covers were really poor. And as a almost lifelong comic book collector, it really irritated me. This cover fell off all by its lonesome, through no abuse by me, and the next several are bad, but this for me of that set was by far the worst. This went through 96 through about issue 99, thereabouts. The bindings were just terrible. But anyway, there we go. We flipped the cover, and there we have the inside cover. Thrills and Spells from Talisman, the Magical Quest game. And it's brought to you by Games Workshop. It's available anywhere at leading game stores and toy shops everywhere. I miss when there were just a bunch of game stores around, I really do. Then we get an ad for Lore Master from the creators of Middle-earth Role-Playing, ICE. You can enter the world of Lore Master, Iron Crown Enterprises out of Charlottesville, Virginia. We go to the table of contents, and we get some mirror writing. Letters to the editor. And then we get Cast Your Own Fantasy figure from the Duncan Company in Calvert, Texas. Index to advertisers, the masthead of all the information about the magazine itself. And then we get an ad for Pendragon, chivalric role-playing in Arthur's Britain. So there you go. There's your opportunity from Cassium out of Albany, California. And then we get the forum, which is another version of the letters to the editor. Gives a little bit more information. There was some pretty good stuff in some of these. Then we get an ad for Game Town, everything in games and puzzles, out of San Diego, California. And then experience a legend in TSR's first AD&D fantasy novel, Dragons of Autumn Twilight. Dragonlance was big in 95. It had just come out in 94, and it was taking the role-playing world by storm. New jobs for demi-humans, dwarven clerics, elven rangers, and that's not all, by Gary Gygax. From the Sorcerer's Scroll was one of my favorite offerings from Dragon magazine, and this was one that previewed a lot of stuff that was going to come out in Unearthed Arcana. We get an ad for Chivalry and Sorcery and Daredevils from Fantasy Games Unlimited out of Roslyn, New York. These are the guys that also did Space Opera. What good PCs are made of. Play characters with more substance than statistics. It just gives you a little bit of background on what it would be like to live in this kind of milieu. A medieval one, kind of, since D&D, as it was originally written, is based on medieval Europe. Continuing on to our article, Warbots, the Ultimate Weapon, the robot role-playing game, coming soon from Mayfair Games to Chicago, Illinois. I don't remember Warbots. Little lean into Battletech there. Battletech was pretty new. Continuing on our article about living in the society we play in D&D, we get the World Gamers Guide. You can be included in the world. So these are just people that play in other parts of the world in the United States. We get an ad for Twilight 2000 from Game Designers Workshop. Twilight 2000 is the bombs have dropped. You're part of the military, possibly struggling through the ruins, trying to make sense of things. Played it a little bit. It was interesting. Available now for more stuff from Game Designers Workshop. Oh, I'm sorry, no, I said GDW. I was so wrong. This is all TSR. Wow. These are TSR. Air War. What are these? SPI. Historical War Games. That's cool. Yes, and TSR went back into some of the board war games that kind of created it and took a look at some stuff there. And this is the ecology of the Golgothra. This is by Ed Greenwood. I love the ecology articles. I thought these were one of the better ideas that Dragon ever used. Don't know much about the monster, I have to tell you. Wanted, official AD&D battle system fantasy combat game. Wanted, heroes, generals, mercenaries, Commanders and heroes of all levels and classes. Ah, the original battle system. Had it. Didn't like it. Roll your own. One package from Rafa Miniatures. With 13 parts, you can build your own guy. These guys were out of Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. Coming attractions. What was TSR up to? What were they going to give us next? Castle Arcania, one-on-one adventure game book. Some Indiana Jones stuff. Lair of the Lich is an endless quest book. The Earthshaker for D&D companion set. Thunder over Jotunheim for Marvel superheroes. Savage Coast for D&D expert. And Dragons of Winter Night. This for Dragonlance Volume 2. Not much for your core stuff. Not much for Greyhawk at this time. It was something they were kind of trying to find out. This is the end of the forum article. Off the shelf literature with a flavor gamers will savor. These are some book reviews. Fiction that was out 40 years ago. Guidelines of writing a dragon article. Anne McAfee's Dragon Riders of Pern come to life through Nova Game Designs. This is a book battle kind of game. The handy art of forgery. An assassin's pen can be mightier than his dagger. We've used some forgery, blackmail kind of stuff. I've done some games based on that. That can be a ton of fun. The role-playing is just tremendous in any kind of con game or anything like that. And I've run several over the years, and they can be a ton of fun. It's definitely more role-playing than dice rolling, but that's okay. Sometimes that's the way to play. And then we've got Illuminati, and add the fast, exciting new play-by-mail game of intrigue and strategic conflict. And this from Adventure Systems out of Houston, Texas. This is part of the Steve Jackson Games. Flashing Blades, a complete role-playing game, a swashbuckling adventure from Fantasy Games Unlimited. Boy, those guys put out a lot of games. Continuing on, we've got the rest of Kim Mullen's Mirror Writing editorial. Don't remember what that was about. Rail's Checklist to Adventure from Rail Partha. Rail Partha had some beautiful stuff. I always wanted that guy. I never bought him. Some really, really nice stuff. They were out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Rail Partha's stuff still available. Books to games, perhaps. Using literature as the backdrop for adventuring. Yeah, you can. Definitely. I've adapted some Shakespearean stuff into some of my games. Macbeth lends itself immediately to it. And some others. And then, of course, some Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes lends itself in several ways. It can be a lot of fun. Silver Dawn and Entertainment Concepts Incorporated $5,000 Quest Tournament Play-by-Mail. Charlotte, North Carolina. Continuing on our article about the literature, here we get the World of Mars, which is very important in early D&D, from Edgar Rice Burroughs. Duel Masters, tired of your old campaign? The Arena cities of Alastari are looking for a few good gladiators. From Reality Simulations out of Tempe, Arizona. From Chill, Time Master, and Star Ace, and now surprise! New from Pace Setter this spring. Wabbit Wampage, Chill, Vampires. Adventure was never this much fun. Pace Setter from Delavan, Wisconsin. Huh. Continuing on, get the Middle Earth is part of the inspiration for your role-playing game. Of course it is. We get a nice ad here for Earthwood, Dawn of the Ancients, out of Miami, Florida. This is a play-by-mail? Yep. Hang on to your hoard. Join the Discount Buyers Group. Free gift for the first 150 members. Discount Buyers Group out of Springfield, Missouri. Help you save money in your role-playing 40 years ago. Dungeons & Dragons Fantasy Role-Playing Game, Set 3, The Companion Rules. This is part of that whole D&D, AD&D split. And we had two concurrent versions of D&D running at the same time from TSR. I used some of the stuff from the D&D Basic, but generally I just stayed with AD&D. Play-by-mail update, news and views, one man's perspective on the play-by-mail industry. Never really got into play-by-mail. I always read the ads and stuff, and I read articles about it, but I never really did it. Jorun, Leave Your World Behind, Skyrealms Publishing, out of Berkeley, California, and Villains and Vigilantes, a superhero role-playing game, the first superhero role-playing game I ever played, from Fantasy Games Unlimited. Continuing on, our various books for play-by-mails. How to Write to the Dragon magazine, be sure you include your address. Halt, Intruder, the Complete Strategist. This is a chain of role-playing game stores, game stores on the East Coast of the United States. Some of them are still around, apparently. I've never been to one. Are there some Dragon magazines missing from your lair? Here's your chance to order them. This is a pretty nice deal. Getting them all for cover price is a pretty good deal. I was able to grab my Dragons off the shelves, which is one of the advantages we had living here in the Chicagoland area, is we got all the stuff pretty regularly. Then we got No Guard. No price, no DM needed, no danger, no point whatsoever. No adventure has ever been like this. High-level adventure to end all adventures. It's an AD&D designed for ultra-high and world-shaking power. And then we're getting a little bit of the April Fool's stuff in here a little bit. There can never be too many dragons, right? This is the What's New Dragon. And the meanest of monsters, 2 creatures that are tougher than anything your character has ever encountered. The Killer Dungeon Master. A quick note about April Fools. I didn't mind the April Fool stuff. In fact, I liked some of the stuff where they adapted the Looney Tune characters and such. I didn't like when April Fools took over the April issue of Dragon. That was not good for me. And this is Deck Plans for Ginny's Delight, an Aries section special. Oh, that's cool. And they put it in the center so you can pop out the deck plan itself. These were valuable in the mid-'80s. There weren't many deck plans out there, and the ones that were kind of pricey. So getting a free one here is pretty neat. Traveler would have them, but they wouldn't be scale like this. And then we continue on with the article about the No Kind, or No Monster, whatever the adventure was. And it takes all kinds. Who's hot and who's not in this new game world. So let's see. Since the release of Enraged Glaciers and Ghouls, Fantasy RPG received several letters from gamers from as far away as Elkhorn, Wisconsin, and Crystal Lake, Illinois, in an outpouring of praise. That's right around. That's not terribly far from Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Let's see. And then we have the Neighborhood of Fred. This is also kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. Continuing on, can never be too many dragons. A little bit of April Fool's I didn't mind. When it took over the magazine, I didn't like it. I actually stopped buying those issues. Rules to Lose By, the Hopeless Character Class. So again, the April Fool's going on here. Games Workshop presents Golden Heroes and the second Citadel Companion from Games Workshop US out of Columbia, Maryland. These are the guys that go on to make up Warhammer 40K. Getting in over your head. Sink or swim rules for the Dragon Quest game. I played Dragon Quest a time or two under a DM. It was pretty good. I like the system. Get it all the easy way from a single source. Draco Digitalis. Everything you've dreamed of. And this is from Burton, Washington. This is pre-internet, folks. Pretty exciting. Continuing on our article about getting in over your head for the rules for Dragon Quest. And then we have Ed for Bushido from Fantasy Games Unlimited out of Roslyn, New York. And then we have Feudal Lords, the original medieval play-by-mail game of economic development, military conquest, and political intrigue. This is from Graph Simulations, St. Clair Shores, Michigan. If anybody did any of the play-by-mails or is still involved with the play-by-mails, let me know how they played out. I never did them. I just didn't. But I was always curious about them. We have Wiz System, Alta System from Nichols Services out of Columbus, Georgia. It's like a quarterly game magazine, it looks like. And they have Hearts and Minds Recon Module 2. RPG Incorporated out of Alvin, Texas. Then we have quickly becoming the most popular new fantasy game on the market, the Palladium role-playing game. I didn't play Palladium. I was always aware of them. A couple players that I gamed with back in the day did have some Palladium stuff, but we just never ran it. I am given to understand it was a pretty interesting system. Pretty good one. Armory Dice, the world's largest selection from the Armory out of Baltimore, Maryland. And as I always do, I'm going to check the Illinois listings. And they have them out of sequence. I like that. So Indiana, nope, never went to those. Mount Prospect, it's still there, just different store. And then Pegasus Hobbies. Those two are always in this list. Inglaf's Dream from Emma Darrogan. Some fiction for you. And then Academy of Adventure Gaming Arts and Design Official Origins Award Nomination Ballot. You can vote for creatures to win an Origins Award. Or for creators, rather, to win an Origin Reward. Science Fiction Gaming section. The Ares section. I love Ares section. This became one of my favorite things about Dragon Magazine. It was treated as its own little baby magazine once the Ares magazine itself folded. And we had a nice Gamma World related cover, which is always fun. Love Gamma World. It's so much fun. And nice editorial. And then these are the Voyages of the Ginny's Delight, an adventuring starship for Star Trek the role-playing game. I played Starfleet Battles a few times. I don't think I ever played the Star Trek role-playing game. It's clobbering time. Marvel Superheroes. Had it, played it, stayed with champs. Champions, there were a number of us that were comic collectors at the time in the mid-'80s when we were playing, and we all felt that Champions best reflected the characters that you saw in the comic books. It was just a way to really make them. I know that Marvel Superheroes did a good job on it too. It's just not... We enjoyed Champs more, that's all. So continuing on, a look at Ginny's Delight. And then why is this mutant smiling? New body parts in Gamma World Gaming. I dog-eared the heck out of this issue for this stuff. I love the Gamma World stuff. Amazing! From May of '85, on sale now. This will be out next month. The Marvel File. Iron Duck. Would I kid you? Yeah, Howard the Duck. Well, okay, I'm done. That's all I'm going to say about Howard the Duck. And then the Fabulous Frogman. He was actually a Daredevil villain. Willie Lumpkin, the mailman for the Fantastic Four. Steve Jackson Games presents Car Wars. Played Car Wars a couple of times under a GM. It was okay. And then Endless Quest Books by TSR. One path leads to night creatures who live to destroy, another leads to castle holding untold riches. Which will you follow? The Marvel File, Pumping Iron, Part 2 by Jeff Grubb. The new Iron Man armor. In the mid-'80s, there was a lot of new designs for Iron Man armor. We got stealth armor, we got the Hulkbuster armor, we got all kinds of stuff. Deep sea armor, space armor. And then we got Rhodey as Iron Man for a while, James Rhodes. The coming of the Sesu, a new alien race for the Star Frontiers game. Gotta like that. HawaiiCon 85. May 17th, 18th, and 19th. Just a quick flight over the ocean and bam, you're playing games. There's a convention calendar for you. Getting your time machine, strategy and tactics. We'll be there. DMs, unleash your computer on the party. Computers. We had one player in our group that had a PC in 1985. And he wasn't able to do much with it for gaming. Gamer's Guide, kind of a personal ad for gamers. An ad for Gen Con 18, the game convention, August 22nd through the 25th, 1985. I was scheduled to go to that one. I wasn't able to make it because I was out of town for work. My wife and several of our players, my wife was my girlfriend then, and several of the players from our game went up there and they said they had a lot of fun. And then Wormy. Gotta love Wormy. Not much dialogue in this one. No dialogue in this one. Dragon Mirth. Run, it's a Doe Golem. I was like Dragon Mirth. And Snarf Quest. There we go. On the inside back cover, we can look at this however we want, is an ad for Paranoia from West End Games out of New York, New York. Played Paranoia a couple of times. And then Dare to Adventure in Middle-earth, the greatest fantasy world of all time. The back cover for MERPS, Middle-earth role-playing system by ICE, Iron Crown Enterprises. So there you have it. An unfortunately battered issue of Dragon Magazine. Not my fault. I treated this one, I've treated all the others. This one just fared the worst for their new crummy binding. I have a couple issues. The next two or three issues are in rough shape where the cars have detached a little bit, but these have all been kept in standing up in boxes pretty much since I bought them. So it was very disappointing that this one fell apart. But there you have it. Just a quick look at the April 1985 issue of Dragon Magazine. Let me know what you think. Were you reading Dragon at the time? What kind of fun memories did you have? And how frequent was this at your table? Please leave some comments below. Also, like and subscribe. Tell your friends. take a look at the Patreon, help keep the channel on the air, supporting me there. And that's all I've got today on page 121. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.